There comes a time in every life when the mirror asks a question: are you living or merely existing? And in that moment, the noise around you falls silent, the applause fades, the expectations blur, and the only voice that remains is your own. That's when the journey truly begins. Winning in life is not about having more, it's about becoming more. More aware, more aligned, more intentional. We were not created to chase shadows, we were made to stand in the light. But you cannot stand in the light until you understand the darkness you've walked through. Purpose is not something you find on a mountaintop or in a best selling book. It is revealed in the quiet of your soul when you ask yourself, what breaks my heart? What wakes me up? Winning begins there. But clarity without discipline is just a dream. Real winners don't wait for motivation. They build systems. They show up on the days they don't feel like it. They train when no one's clapping. They plant seeds in faith, knowing the harvest is hidden underground, waiting for its season. Life will break you, not once, not twice, but often, but often. It will test every ounce of your patience, stretch your hope till it's paper thin. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is the divine chisel. It removes the unnecessary so your essence can emerge. What looks like a setback is often a setup, divine, deliberate, and deeply personal. Timing is not in your hands, but trust is trust in a higher purpose, trust in a plan greater than your logic. The detour may just be the direction you needed. So don't curse the waiting, win in it, speak less, observe more. In a world addicted to loudness, stillness is rebellion. Learn to sit with your thoughts. Let silence sharpen your intuition. The answers you're chasing may already be whispering. They're just drowned by the noise. What you do in secret matters more than what you post. Character is crafted in silence, in how you treat people who can do nothing for you. In whether you choose what is right over what is easy, life doesn't reward talent, it rewards truth. And finally, never underestimate the power of a grateful soul. Gratitude changes posture, it changes perception, it opens doors that effort cannot. Because when you see life as a gift, you live like a giver, and givers never lose. Clarity of purpose is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, we are pulled in every direction, enslaved by trends, distractions, and the voices of others telling us who to be. When you lack clarity, everything feels urgent, but nothing feels important. You end up doing more, achieving less, and feeling empty in the process. But when you are clear about your purpose, decisions become easier, distractions lose their power, and your life begins to align with intention rather than impulse. Clarity is not about having all the answers. It's about knowing the right questions. What matters to you beyond applause? What would you still do if no one noticed? Your purpose isn't found in comparison. It's found in conviction. It's found in conviction. It's the quiet knowing that there is something greater you are meant to contribute, something that calls you even when the world goes silent. Many people confuse success with purpose, but purpose isn't always glamorous. It doesn't always come with titles or recognition. Sometimes purpose looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like discipline when no one's watching. Clarity is what tells you to keep going when the world gives you every reason to stop. It is what helps you say a no to good things so you can say yes sir to the right things. So you can say yes sir to the right things. You don't stumble upon clarity by scrolling, copying, or rushing. You cultivate it by listening, by pausing, by reflecting. The deeper your understanding of why you are here, the stronger your resilience when life pushes back, because it will. Storms will come, doors will close, but a clear purpose gives you roots. It grounds you when everything around you shifts. Clarity of purpose is not just about direction, it's about identity. It helps you remember who you are when the world tries to define you by what you do. Once you are clear, you become unstoppable, not because the path is easy, but because the path is yours. Desire is fleeting, it comes in waves, powerful, emotional, often overwhelming, but it doesn't last. Discipline, on the other hand, is the quiet force that builds empires when no one is watching. It shows up on cold mornings, in moments of boredom, and times when motivation has long disappeared. While desire might get you started, only discipline can take you across the finish line. The world constantly tells you to chase your passion, to do what you love, but rarely does it remind you that love requires commitment. Passion without discipline is like fire without oxygen. It flares up brightly and dies just as quickly. Discipline is the oxygen. It keeps the fire alive on the days when passion fades, when you're tired, when you don't feel like trying. It's easy to be consistent when you're excited. The real test is what you do when you're not. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack consistency. They wait to feel inspired before they act, not realizing that action breeds inspiration, not the other way around. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't like it. Feel like it. It's choosing progress over comfort, routine over chaos, and long term growth over short term pleasure. There will always be a voice telling you to take the easy way out, to rest when you should rise, to quit when you're close. But discipline is the quiet refusal to listen. It's the inner agreement to stay committed not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Every great achievement is a collection of ordinary, disciplined days stacked one after another. Discipline gives you something desire never can: control. Control over your time, your energy, your results. While desire asks, "Do I feel like it?" discipline declares, "It doesn't matter." That kind of power, the ability to move forward regardless of emotion, is rare, but it's available to anyone willing to practice it. Not once, but daily. Over and over until discipline becomes identity. Adversity doesn't ask for permission, it arrives uninvited, often when you least expect it, interrupting plans, shaking confidence, and testing everything you believe about yourself. But hidden within every hardship is a decision, a choice to either collapse under the weight or rise because of it. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, it's about learning how to carry it with grace. It's not the absence of struggle that defines strength, but the refusal to surrender in its presence. Every setback you encounter has the potential to shape you or shatter you or shatter you. What makes the difference is not the situation itself, but the story you choose to tell yourself in the middle of it. Resilience begins in the mind. It's the voice that whispers a "not yet" when failure says it's over. It's the courage to keep moving forward when progress feels invisible, when hope feels like a lie, and when no one is clapping for you. Most people look at adversity as a punishment, but it's often a preparation. Life will test you before it trusts you, before it trusts you. The challenges are not there to destroy you, they are there to reveal you, to strip away what is shallow, to expose what is real, and to forge a version of you that is grounded, unshakable, and wiser than before. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without pain, there is no transformation. Formation. You don't build resilience by reading about it or wishing for it. You build it by getting up one more time than you fall, by showing up broken but determined, by choosing not to let what happened to you define what happens next. There is power in simply enduring, in staying when everything in you wants to run, in holding your ground when the storm rages. Resilience is not about being unaffected, it's about being undeterred. It's the ability to take the hit, feel the sting, and still rise. For not because life is easy, but because something in you refuses to be conquered. That is where real strength is born, in the quiet, defiant act of continuing. There are moments in life when everything feels delayed, dreams take longer, doors stay closed, and progress seems invisible. In those moments, it's easy to fall into doubt, to question whether you're on the right path, or worse, to wonder if you're being forgotten. But not everything delayed is denied. There's a sacred rhythm to life that doesn't always align with our impatience. Faith in divine timing is the quiet surrender that says, "Even when I don't see it, I believe there's purpose in the wait." We live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast results, instant validation, immediate success. But some of the most meaningful things take time: deep roots, strong character, lasting impact. Divine timing doesn't rush the process because it's not just about what you're pursuing, but who you're becoming in the pursuit. Every delay is shaping you, refining you, preparing you for what you prayed for in ways you don't yet understand. Faith in divine timing doesn't mean passivity. It means trust while working, peace while growing, patience while stretching. Stretching. It's knowing that what's meant for you cannot be taken from you, but it also won't arrive until you're ready to hold it. Timing is not just about events aligning, it's about maturity, aligning, perspective aligning, and your inner capacity catching up to your outer calling. There are lessons in the wait that you can't learn any other way. Lessons in stillness, humility, gratitude, and dependence. Sometimes you're not being delayed, you're being protected. What feels like a detour may actually be a divine rerouting that spares you from something you weren't meant to carry. Faith in divine timing is trusting that a no today may be the reason you can embrace a better yes tomorrow. The truth is, we're not in control of the clock, But we are in control of how we wait. And those who wait with faith, quiet, steady, surrendered, often receive far more than they imagined at a time they never expected, in a way they never thought possible. True character is revealed not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. When no one is watching, when applause is absent, and when choices must be made without recognition. Integrity in the shadows means living by your values even when it would be easier not to. It means doing the right thing simply because it's right, not because it's rewarded. In a world driven by optics, where image often matters more than substance, this kind of quiet integrity is rare and powerful. What you do in private eventually shapes who you are in public. The small decisions, the unseen sacrifices, the silent battles, these are the foundation of a life that can be trusted. It's easy to perform well when the cameras are rolling. But can you be kind when no one says thank you? Can you be honest when the lie would never be caught? Can you stay grounded when compromise offers a shortcut? Integrity isn't built overnight. It's built decision by decision, especially when those decisions go unnoticed. It's forged in the quiet moments when you're tired, tempted, or uncertain. And those moments matter more than most realize. Because when the pressure rises and the spotlight does come, it won't create your character, it will expose it. Success that lacks integrity is hollow. It may shine for a while, but it eventually collapses under its own weight. But when you live with consistency between your values and your actions, even in the shadows, you carry a kind of peace that can't be shaken by opinions or outcomes. You don't need to pretend to impress or to defend. You simply are who you say you are. Who you say you are. The world may not always see the effort, the restraint, or the courage it takes to live with integrity behind the scenes. But those moments are not wasted. They're the quiet investments in a life that is whole, not just seen. Not just seen. And the person who honors the unseen will always be stronger when they step into the light. In a world that never stops speaking, silence has become rare and powerful. We are surrounded by noise, not just in sound, but in opinions, expectations, comparisons, and distractions. Everyone has something to say, and everyone expects you to respond, to react, to keep up. But silence is not absence, it is presence. It is not emptiness, it is clarity. Choosing silence over noise is not about withdrawal. It's about wisdom. It is in silence that you hear what truly matters, that you separate your voice from the chorus of everyone else's. There is a kind of strength in staying quiet when the world demands noise. Silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you're choosing when and how to say it. It means you don't need to prove, perform, or please. You're not chasing approval. You're listening for truth or listening for truth. And truth doesn't scream, it whispers. It waits for you in the stillness underneath the surface beyond the noise. The most profound decisions are not made in chaos but in calm. The most honest conversations happen in solitude. The deepest self awareness is born in the quiet moments you spend alone with your thoughts, free from the pressure to be seen or validated. In silence, you meet yourself. You face your fears, your patterns, your truths, and in doing so, you build an inner life strong enough to weather any storm, enough to weather any storm. Noise is seductive. It distracts you from discomfort. It rounds up doubt and masks emptiness, but it also robs you of depth. Constant noise keeps you reactive, not reflective. It fills your life but leaves your soul hollow. Silence, however, is a sacred reset. It doesn't just quiet the world around you, it recalibrates the world within you. When you learn to be still, to pause, to step away from the constant input, you begin to see clearly. You begin to choose deliberately. And most importantly, you begin to live intentionally. In silence, you regain your power, not by doing more, but by finally hearing what your life has been trying to tell you all along. Gratitude is not a feeling reserved for good days. It is a posture of the heart that transforms how you move through every season. It doesn't ignore difficulty, it gives you the strength to endure it. When life is hard, gratitude reminds you that not everything is broken. When things go well, it keeps you humble and grounded. Gratitude is not passive, it's powerful. It's powerful. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present, from what's gone wrong to what's still right. When you live from a place of gratitude, you stop chasing validation. You stop living in comparison. You begin to see blessings where others see burdens. You begin to show up with more purpose because you're not just driven by what you want to achieve, you're aware of what you've already been given. That awareness becomes your fuel. It gives you energy not rooted in pressure, but in perspective. You work not from desperation, but from appreciation. Gratitude creates resilience. It strengthens your spirit by anchoring you in what's true. In moments of setback, it becomes a quiet reminder that not all is lost. It says, you've come through before and you'll come through again. It doesn't erase pain, but it softens its edges. It doesn't remove struggle, but it gives you eyes to see the growth within it. Hence, some of the strongest people aren't those who have the most, but those who are most thankful for what they have. Gratitude keeps pride in check. It makes you more generous, more patient, more open hearted. It elevates the way you lead, the way you love, and the way you serve, and the way you serve. Because when you recognize that every breath is a gift, you begin to live like someone who has something to give. Gratitude isn't the end of growth, it's the beginning of it. When you are thankful, you become teachable. You stay connected to the present while remaining hopeful for the future. And in a world that constantly tells you to strive for more, gratitude is the quiet voice that reminds you you already have enough to begin.